Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the top 10 best non-gambling power forwards currently available in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. And honestly, this list is pretty deep and pretty good. I'm very impressed by how many good non-gambling power forwards there are in the game at this point. And I think it's actually probably one of the deepest non-gambling positions because there are a lot of top-tier cards at the power forward spot that are non-gambling cards. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Help me push towards the 30,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it and let's discuss. So this is actually a pretty deep top 10 and I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. Starting with at number 10, Bill Walton. Rest in peace to a legend. He just passed a couple weeks ago. And this card that they dropped for him is actually a pretty good card. A free reward card, 6'11 with a 7'3 wingspan. Good speed, not an exceptionally elite shooter, but a phenomenal defender. Good playmaking badges as well, though he could use handles for days as well as some shooting badges. If you add handles for days and those shooting badges, though, you got a really good card because he's a great dunker. He's a great defender. He's got good size at 6'11 with a 7'3 wingspan. And like I said, I mean, I just think as a whole, it's a really good card. Release is very smooth and solid. Kemba escape gives him decent sigs. Like as a whole, he is a very, very solid card in my team who does a lot of things pretty well at the power forward position. But I do think there are several cards on this list that are better as a whole than he is. So I think we're going to put him at number 10. Number 9 is going to be Tyson Chandler. Tyson's biggest value probably is just that he's big at 7 foot with a very large player build. He's a dominant inside force on both ends of the court and an elite level versatile defender. But he is not the greatest shooter in the world. The 82 base 3 ball is not bad, but he doesn't really have any shooting badges. I think he's a better version of Bill Walton pretty much. He's a little, I mean, he's as athletic, if not more. He's a little faster. He's a better defender. He's an inch taller. And I think his release is pretty similar to Bill's. And I think as a shooter, they're pretty similar as well. So really, I think this Tyson Chandler gives you about the same thing as Bill Walton does, just as a slightly bigger card, pretty much. And that is why he gets a slightly higher spot on this list at number 9. Number 8 is going to be the brand new DeMarcus Cousins that came out today. Boogie is not bad at all by any means. I just think he is not unbelievably elite. His SIGs are not incredible. He is 6'10", which is not super incredibly tall, but he's got a 7'5 wingspan, which is really nice. And again, I think 6'10 is tall enough. Hotspots from everywhere. Badge-wise, he's super complete, which I really like. I just wish his SIGs were a little better. KD escape is not the best. Curry's dragback is good. And I think he's got a decent behind the back, but as a whole, like, I think his release could also be a little bit better. It's not awful, but like stats and badges are exceptional. The animations just leave a slight bit to be desired in a couple of different areas. And to me, that makes it pretty easy to put him number 8, which seems like a really fair spot for him, to be honest. Not a bad card by any means either. Number 7 is Bill Russell, who's a card I really, really liked and used for a while. 6'10 with a 7'4 wingspan. Honestly, he's very similar to Boogie, but I think he's got a little bit better SIGs than Boogie. And I think as a shooter, yes, he needs shooting badges. Boogie's got all those shooting badges added, but add those shooting badges, add a 3-point shoe. I think his defense and his dunking are exceptional, and I think his SIGs are better as well. D-Book, dribble style, Kobe escape, Jamal Murray behind the back, John Wall's drag back gives him top tier go-to SIGs that really a guy like Boogie just doesn't quite have, and that's probably the main differentiator between the two. That's why I put Bill Russell at number 7. Number 6 is going to be Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba is always good in 2K. Every single year, Mo Bamba is just one of those cards who's always good in 2K. 7 foot with a 7'10 wingspan is the main reason why. Just elite level size. This card is 95% of Dark Matter Bull. It's basically how I would describe him. Hotspots from literally everywhere. 27 hoffs include pretty good hoffs. Like, he's a great defender. He's got solid, a couple playmaking, some solid shooting badges. Gold limitless finishing badges are good. 95 standing and 90 driving dunk. 92 speed, 93 ball, and defensively phenomenal. Rebounding wise, phenomenal release that is very, very good for a power forward. And then Trey escape hardened behind the back to kind of cap off this card with elite level SIGs. Like, as a whole, I think he's really, really good, and I think his release is super solid as well. And honestly, if you wanted to make an argument for him higher than this, I wouldn't blame you. He is just missing a lot of badges compared to a guy like Boogie or Bill Russell overall. And I think when you compare to the top 5 power forwards in the game, I would put him slightly lower, but not by a significant margin. Like, I really do think this Mo Bamba card is really, really good at number 6. Number 5 is the brand new Kevin Garnett that came out today. KG would be probably number 1 if he had an elite release, honestly. He'd be at least top 3 for sure if he had an elite release. But His release isn't very good. It's the only flaw with the card. Everything else is insane. He's not missing anything. I mean, he's got Giant Slayer and Spot Fighters. The only two badges he's missing, and honestly, neither of those are hugely important. But you can add them if you want. Shooting badges are exceptional. Playmaking badges are exceptional, and the defense and dunking is even better. But he's got all the key badges, even half handles for days. Defense is exceptional. He's super fast, great shooter, great dunker. Like, everything is elite, and then he's got perfect SIGs as well to cap it off. This card is insane. He is so, so good. But his release is bad. It's just not very good. I mean, that's the honest truth. At the end of the day, that is the one thing that kills this card. And really, in all honesty, it's the only thing that kills this card. Because as a whole, I really do think he is a very, very good option. But it is a little bit of a shame that his release is pretty mediocre. And I think it holds him back to where I can only put him at number 5, despite how good he is in every other area. Number 4 is going to be George Mikan, who is not quite as complete as KG when it comes to all-around ability. But he's not that far behind. Also does pretty much everything well, except for, I guess, playmake a little bit. But you can add handles for days. He does have a high enough ball handle rating. He's a great dunker, great shooter, great speed, super solid defender in his own right. And his release is money. D-book base, John Collins up, run very quick is cash money. SIGs himself are good as well. Harden behind the back, Steph's escape, good stuff like that as well. As a whole, I think this George Mikan card is one of the more slept on power forwards in the game. He's not a card that I think people are using a ton yet, although I think I am seeing him more and more, and I think he's in lineups more and more for good reason. This card should be in a lot of lineups because he's one of the best non-gambling power forwards in the entire game and does pretty much everything well. Honestly, what he is a very, very slightly worse version of this guy, Nate Thurman, because Thurman is basically George Mikan. But the thing about Nate Thurman is he has even better SIGs. Yes, he needs shooting badges, but an 85 base 3-ball means with a coach and a shoe, that's still a 93, which is more than high enough. So add Asian 3 blinders, limitless range, and maybe 1 or 2 more if you want, like corner specialist and Deadeye, and he has everything else. Not only that, he has top tier god SIGs, like Kyrie dribble style, Francis size up, Trey escape, Jamal right behind the back, John Wall drag back. He has the best SIGs of any power forward in the game. And honestly, if you wanted to argue him higher than 3, go for it. Release is good. Pro 2 fade. The card is exceptional, and he is exceptionally complete. The only reason that he is not number 1 is because of 2 cards that are in his way. Number 1, a 100 overall Moses Malone, who release might not be quite as good as Nate Thurman, but he is free from Unlimited if you got your Unlimited rings, and I think he is a better version of Nate Thurman, just barely. Release might not be quite as good, but everything else is just slightly better. He's an inch shorter, but he's got basically the same player build, 7'2" wingspan. And then his stats and badges are obviously perfect, basically, which is the real plus about this card, is the perfection of this card. 99 3-ball, all the Hoff shooting badges that you need, basically. Same thing with the playmaking badges, Hoff handles for days even. His completeness is just unmatched, and I know I don't put 100 overalls on these top 10 lists, but a free 100 overall is a card that I can put on a top 10 list, because he is attainable as a non-gambling card. And if you did grind out your Unlimited rings and got this Moses Malone, he is a quality of card that I think makes it to where it feels worth it, and he is just absolutely exceptional in my team. I mean, the only reason he's not number 1, in all honesty, is because of this guy, Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe's just 7'2". That's pretty much why Dikembe is number 1. Is because he's 7'2" with maybe the best big man release in the game. His jump shot is unbelievably cash. Malachi Flynn based, Laurie Market and up run, very quick, Pro 2 fade. SIGs wise, he's not as good as a couple of the guys behind him. Definitely not as good as Thurman or Moses Malone, but he's 7'2" with the best big man release in the game. That's about all we have to say. Base 84 3-ball means with a coach in the shoe, that's a 92. And his shooting badges are already super solid. He's already super complete. So if you add an Agent 3 slippery off ball handles for days and maybe a couple other if you want, there's just nothing to complain about this card. He's unbelievably good, legitimately. One of the best cards in the game still. One of the very best free cards of the entire year. It's the best thing that 2K did in Season 6 was free Glenn Rice and free Dikembe Mutombo, giving away one of the best bigs in the game and the best guard in the game for free. It's really one of the only things they've done well as of late in my team, but very, very pleased with this Dikembe Mutombo card, and I think he deserves the number 1 spot for sure. That's going to do it for this list. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.